Every year, over 9,000 house fires are caused by grills, and most of those are from gas grills. But there's some basic maintenance that you can do to significantly reduce your risk and also help your grills last a long time, and that is cleaning it. But whenever I've made a grill cleaning video, someone always comments that the grill I started with was already way too clean. So I reached out and found someone else who had a real-life grill that wasn't mine, that they said was absolutely nasty, so that way I could better show you what it looks like. Overall, they did a really good job keeping their grill clean on the outside and the parts that you could see. But if you pulled those grates off, you'd see inches of burnt up crusty stuff that was a grease fire just waiting to happen. All I used to clean this grill is a regular old grill brush, as well as some degreaser. And I used Simple Green because they say it's biodegradable, so that way if it gets on the grass and things, it's not a big problem. But you can use whatever degreaser you like or have at home. I'm also using some shop towels because they don't tear as easy as regular paper towels, and some basic metal and plastic putty scrapers to help get out some of the mess. And with any grill, I like to clean it from the inside to the outside, because as you clean the dirtiest parts of the grill, invariably you're going to get some of that grease and gunk out on the outside, and you're going to end up cleaning it twice if you do it backwards. So I took a grill brush to both sides of the grill grates, both top and bottom, to be able to clean them up. And that's when I discovered that they make a mistake that's super common among grillers out there, and that is they only grill on one side. You can tell that the left side was much dirtier, it had a lot more stuff on it, than the right side, which was almost spotless to begin with. But when I looked a little bit closer at the grates after I had cleaned them up a little bit, the ones on the right side had some of the enamel that was pitted and chipped off and was starting to rust. And that's because as you cook, you get grease and it coats those surfaces and keeps that from happening. I also sent them some pictures of the rust so that way they could look at it and then see if they wanted to ask Weber if it was a valid warranty claim, because they replaced my grill grates when they were about the same point. And after all that, I figured that they weren't going to change the way that they were grilling, so I took the grill grates and I swapped them when I put them back, so that way the ones that weren't really used were going to get a little bit more action. And it's kind of like rotating your tires just to make sure everything gets a good coating and wears evenly. And next up was the Flavorizer bars, and those ones get super hot because they're right over the burners, but they also get the most amount of stuff dripped on them. Because they get so hot, they're really easy to clean up. You just take the putty scraper, scrape everything off, and they're pretty clean at that point. These ones were in good shape, they weren't rusted, so they were ready to go. I just took them out of the grill and moved on to the next step. With the grates and the Flavorizer bars out of the way, I was able to get at the grill burners, as well as the grease collection tray at the bottom, and that's where things got really, really nasty. I thought I'd be able to get most of it out with just a scraper. I was able to reach in with my gloved hands and pull out big old chunks over and over again because of how thick it was. And this is where the real risk is with not cleaning your grill. You'll see a lot of manufacturers that say that you shouldn't coat the bottom of the grill with any aluminum foil or anything else, even though it can make it easier to clean. And that's because that foil impedes the grease from going down the tray and into the collection bin at the bottom. And this thick layer of stuff gave lots of opportunity for the grease to collect and stay in there, and if your grill gets too hot, it lights up and catches on fire, and it's going to be really hard to put out. With the big chunks out of the way, I pulled out the scraper and started peeling away at a lot of the grease and gunk that was at the bottom. It took a little bit of work, maybe 10-15 minutes, in order to be able to get it to the point where I thought it was pretty clean. It's important to note that I'm not trying to get it so clean that I could use it as a queso bowl for nachos at my next barbecue. I just want to get it clean enough that way that grease flows through, because the next time I grill on it, it's going to get gross again. So how often should you go through this process and clean out your grill? Well, it really depends on use, and the best metric for that is that grease tray at the bottom of your grill. When it fills up and is ready to be replaced, that's about a good time to clean out the inside as well. And speaking of grease trays, this one was really nasty. Instead of using a regular old liner, they just let it dump right into the metal tray that comes with the grill. And that means that anytime you need to clean it out, you're going to have to scrape it out, get all the crusty bits out, and that's a ton of work. And that's why I recommend people use these liners, because they're pretty inexpensive. They're only about $1 and they're available locally or on Amazon. I've linked to them down below to make it easier for you to find them, but it's way easier to replace one of these than it is to scrape it clean. And that easy replacement means you're going to do it more often, and you're going to end up with a cleaner, better grill, and that's going to give you better tasting food in the long run. Next up is the grill burners themselves. After a bunch of grilling, they're going to start to get a little bit of crusty bits on the orifices, and that can make it so they don't burn as cleanly. The easiest thing to do is grab your grill brush and then scrape side to side, so that way as you push things off, it goes into the grill rather than into the next hole. Quick scrape, and those are good to go. At that point, I could put all the inside of the grill back together to get it to the point where they could grill again. Then I started working on the outside. And even though it looked like it was pretty clean, it was still a little bit shiny. Using my basic degreaser and shop towels in order to be able to scrub that thing off wasn't quite enough to get through that thick layer of gunk. Now, I've had really good luck with that on my own grills because I do it more frequently. And I know many of you have some experiences, so if you have tips and tricks that have worked for you for that kind of thing, put it down in the comments below and help everybody out. The rest of the grill was just a matter of wiping out the outside with the degreaser and the shop towels, and I even found some drips that were probably from last Christmas. Some of the stuff had definitely been there a long time. I got into the nooks and crannies and even cleaned the bottom tray to make sure that it was absolutely spotless. A full clean like this is going to take you somewhere between 30 and 60 minutes to complete, or less if you do it more often. The result is you're going to have a grill that lasts a lot longer, it's going to burn cleaner, which is going to make your food taste better, and you're going to reduce your risk of a fire.